We wouldn't have had the vaccine rollout that was so successful if we'd been within the European Union.
Can you list the Brexit benefits that common people have received so far, and what further benefits will common people receive in the next 12, 18, 24 months?
Well, the British people as a whole have received the advantage of the vaccine, which was a pretty big and early benefit of Brexit.
Just remember one thing, Mr. Speaker. We had the fastest vaccine rollout in the world. We had that because of our freedoms after leaving the European Union.
Now they're all at it. It's complete bollocks and they all know it. Britain was still bound by EMA rules when the COVID vaccination programme began. Don't just take my word for it, listen to the head of the MHRA, June Rain.
We appear to be getting authorisation for this vaccine ahead of our friends in Europe. I was just wondering, does the fact that the UK is no longer part of the EU, did that make any difference to the speed with which you were able to complete your authorisation?
We have been able to authorise the supply of this vaccine using provisions under European law which exist until the 1st of January.
So where did this bollocks originate?
Is the UK better off than it was 6 years ago when you left the EU?
It is, and we've got, look, what we've been able to do. Let me give you an example. Thanks to the position that we took, we had an independent medical agency that was able to make sure that the first COVID vaccine in anybody's, first approved COVID vaccine in anybody's arms in the world was in the UK. We then had the fastest vaccine, and that was because we were outside something called the European Medicines Agency.
So you couldn't have done it if otherwise?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's a surprise.
Anybody who listens to Boris needs professional help.
And despite promising this...
So one of my first jobs is to try and restore trust in government.
And that starts with being honest with people.
Sunak is actually telling Parliament the same bollocks.
We had that because of our freedoms after leaving the European Union.
EU legislation enacted into British law already allow countries to temporarily authorise vaccines without waiting for approval from the EMA. In fact, the UK government always made it clear that it could authorise vaccines unilaterally under European law. So when the government, desperate to find a benefit of Brexit because of this...
The Centre for Economic Reform claims the government has lost out on £40 billion in taxes because of the damage done to the country's output by leaving the European Union.
Tells you this...
Vaccine rollout.
They are talking absolute bollocks. But it doesn't stop them trying to get away with it.
You say, I'm proud to have got Brexit done. I now look forward to the future to build a truly global Britain. What are the three best achievements since getting Brexit done, would you say, Minister? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Well, I'd say from the start, the biggest impact we've seen over the last couple of years is probably the Britain's ability to fulfil its own vaccine programme.
Well, you'll be aware, of course, the independent website Full Facts say that's not true, and even the boss of our own MHRA, Dr. June Rain, has also said that's not true. So,
well, we could have done
strike that one out?
You're absolutely right.
Never underestimate just how thick this government thinks we all are.